Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Scott. Good morning. Good morning. And good morning to those of you who are tuning in with us. We love that you are joining us, that you are a part of the congregation. And we know for certain that we are on an adventure in faith. Or at least that's what we're telling ourselves, yes. you, you know, sometimes life presents itself in such a way that it feels like it's coming at us hard. And so that's always an opportunity to declare this is an adventure in faith. And dare I say today, I'm going to greet you with, may the fourth be with you. Especially on this adventure in faith. Yes, yes. Good work, y'all. Good work. So look, what we're up to, and I feel like this notion of the fourth, the force being with us, is all important because today, thank you, Reverend Angelo, I have this sense that hope, which is our continuing, I'm a serial preacher, and so we are still working with this idea of hope. And so Reverend Angelo, in my sharing with him my intention for today, he offered me this notion of hope as our board, as in a surfboard. Let's ride the wave on our adventure in faith, huh? That's a worthy endeavor, yeah? So we are just going to ride the wave of this. Some standing, some of us just going to lay out on the board and let it have its way with us. But the point is that we are about it. I want to remind you that hope isn't wishful thinking in the way that we are thinking about it at all. It is spiritual power in motion. It's the anchor that holds, it's the spark that ignites, it's the sacred force that we have just declared that is with us, yes, that helps us to ride life's roughest waves. And some would say we're in the midst of that. That this is the moment where we need to have direct access to our board so that we can indeed ride the wave. So I'm continuing this, and my hope, my prayer, my intention is to give you some ideas, some principles that can help keep us afloat when everything around us says give up. Do y'all ever have that, hear that voice that just says, just give up? What it means is, now everybody isn't acknowledging it, and I'm just going to acknowledge for you, that part of being human is having that sense of a voice that says, not you, not now, just give up. And I'm not clear that voice gets to run your life. And so our intention is to offer some ideas, some principles to support us in building our resolve to live according to our heart's desire, to live in alignment with our highest. Does any of this appeal to you? Is this making sense? Yes, to live in alignment with our highest desire, to not be in the downward spiral of, yeah, it'll do. This will be good enough. If I can just get by, if I can survive through the end of this year. Instead, I'm inviting you. Today is an invitation to set an intention, to have an intention for your life that is a stretch for you, that makes it what? An adventure in faith. You see, if it's too close, if it's just the same old, if it's the status quo, if it's what you did last year, that's not an adventure in faith. And by the way, what you did last year was for last year. What you gonna do this time? Something else. This year is an invitation to get us into the full possibility. The notion The idea here is the seed that I want to plant is that better days are not just possible, but they await us. Can you feel the difference in that? That better days, our heart's desire, is not just possible, it's really promised by the power within you. Each and every one of us, individually, and the collective power. That's serious business, yes? That's some power, and each of us have it. So today's message, should you choose to get into it, is one to support us in, pardon me, in navigating what, excuse me, an adventure in faith. The straw is just rolling around in the water. So it really did not matter how hard I sucked. That for anyone who does anyone have a sense of uncertainty about, and it could be just for you personally, situations, circumstances, opportunities in your life, and you might be thinking more globally. You might be thinking about the United States. You might be thinking beyond our borders even. But my question is, howsoever you're thinking of it, have you had a sense of uncertainty? What about y'all? In here, just so you know, they're saying yes. What about you? At home or wherever you are right now, under whatever circumstances you're catching this message, if you've had any sense of uncertainty, this message today is for you. And let me also add that on this Wednesday, our grief doula, Gina Breedlove, who is a member of Heart and Soul, has been doing this amazing work in the world. And sometimes when we say grief, the thought for many of us has to do with death of family, friends, loved ones. And what the world has taught us, we have each just had a tutorial in how grief can show up on the planet. That it isn't always connected with a physical death. It's often connected with change. And this is a time of tremendous change. And the way change always comes is there's some folks who's like, yeah, that's exactly the change I wanted. And then there's a whole group of people who are like, no, that can't be what's happening. So if you're in the, if you move in and about that group right now, about having some grief, some pain, some concern about how things are right now, then there's a huge opportunity. I encourage you, if you can, to tune in with us on Wednesday evening. It's a virtual session for our Imagining Justice group, but then be with us in person on Saturday. On Saturday afternoon, when our grief doula, Gina Breedlove, will be with us. She's a sound master. She is a healer in her own right. And this work that she is doing is creating these held spaces. And so Heart and Soul is a held space, a space where we will hold you and all of your grief and engage you in processes and opportunities to let it go. There'll be movement. Wear loose clothing and bring a journal. We're pricing it at $20 each, I believe. Yes, at $20. And that's our way of saying, be here. Just get here. There's nothing between. It's worth even altering your schedule so that you can be a part of this healing. We'll be breathing and visioning and grieving and dancing. We'll be still together. The point is we'll be together as we hold each other and are held to release this. And then on Sunday, Brother Ishmael Tete will be with us. And that is always, as a West African, he is Ghanaian, and he brings that connection with nature. In fact, that is his thesis, is this notion of healing and how natural it is to be in a healed state. So I invite you to be here with me, with us, for that as well. And Melanie DeMore, can I tell you how happy I am that you are with us today? Let me just say up front, I miss you. The first song that I have requested of Melanie DeMore is one that she wrote out of an experience here. And so I'm asking her to share that with you, and I'm inviting you at home as well, to listen with your whole heart so that you can hear. You see, Mother Harriet has a message for us for such a time as this, where the world is trying to give you a prescription for how to be and what your limits are. Mother Harriet stands as a witness, as evidence, as historical data that does not have to be. What is said must be, or here's the way it is for you. You're going to have to be this way because. Mother Harriet reminds us not necessarily that you can make some choices for yourself. She walked a certain way. She spoke a certain way. She lived a certain way. This is Melanie DeMore, who's going to bring that to us. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I added a couple of verses because we just need to have more verses. We gonna run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. We gonna run like Moses ran and keep running on. We're gonna run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on. Run like Mother Moses ran and keep running on, 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 keep running on. Run like Mother Moses ran. We're gonna stand like Cesar Chavez stood and keep standing on. Stood for workers, yes he did, and keep standing on. We're gonna stand like Cesar Chavez stood and keep standing on. Stand like Cesar Chavez stand and keep standing on. Keep standing on, keep standing on, keep standing on, keep standing on, keep standing on. Stand like Cesar Chavez stood. We're gonna march like Mother, I'll do it again. We're gonna march like Brother Martin marched and keep marching on. March for justice, yes he did, and keep marching on. We're gonna march like Brother Martin march and keep marching on. March like Brother Martin march and keep marching on. 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 March like Brother Martin march. Stand like Cesar Chavez stood run like Mother Moses ran.
Thank you, Melanie. I wanted us to get that in our spirit so that we would have a sense of the audacity that Mother Harriet had, the audacity to get knocked out and stand up in a time that would have, I mean, I just, it, any bit of her life story specifically, you know, there's that part of her life story where there is an iron object that is lobbed at her head and it knocks her out. Now, for many of us, for all of the reasons that are personal, for the way that we have formed our sense of self, that would have been it. We would never have known the name of that person because that would have been an invitation that they accepted to personal, not public obscurity, but personal. You know how life can deal something that where you just shrink or you feel like it just takes the wind out of your sails. What I love, and this is why Mother Harriet is here in our sanctuary, is because she stands as and for something else. So not only did she get up, but she kept going. And there's something there for us if we're willing to take it on. What did we sing with Melanie? And keep moving on. That's the part of this. This notion of there being sufficient force with us that we have the audacity to rise through whatever it is we're going through. Whatever it is, be it health related. For some, it would be, and I'm not going to ask anyone to identify, for some, they're dealing with a health situation, an opportunity. It's an invitation to stand for your innate health and well-being. I don't know what it will require of you. But I know many people who have been through a health opportunity stand on the other side of it, declaring that it required that they be different. Do you get that staying the same gets you the same? And so whatever it is, this is not, I'm not suggesting that you go against whatever your medical advice or your healthcare advice is. I am saying tap in. Tap into the inner force, the inner knowing, your innate knowing, your spiritual wisdom, so that you can get here's what can happen in that. This is true for me. I declare, and have for decades now, that I awaken knowing what I didn't go to bed knowing. And I don't remember how that started for me, but now it's just my life. And so guess what? I awaken knowing what I didn't know going to bed. So I awaken with an insight that always leads me someplace, that leads me someplace, that leads me someplace, that reveals something to me. Come on, Mother Harriet, help us with this idea that we don't have to have it all laid out. When you go to bed at night, you do not have to know the answer. You do not have to know the next step or the next idea. You can declare and be all right with putting something under your pillow too. That little lab report or whatever it is, or the bank statement, I don't know what it is for you. We started talking about health and well-being. It might be more financial, though, in terms of your financial health and well-being. It might be about relationships. It might be that there's somebody's name to go under your pillow with a heart around their name. I just want to be clear about the kind of energy we're generating here when we put people's names under the pillow. Yes? So what we're doing is we're allowing that, what that is, translation, is an invitation to your subconscious mind. That's your way of inviting your subconscious mind to just have your way with this. Up level what I know about this. And awaken trusting. Here's the other thing I had to learn. I have to trust the insight. I got to trust that I need to call that person. I got to trust that I need to write this next thing down. I got to trust that, because all of you, this is not unique, all of us have had ideas that we didn't do not a thing with. In fact, they kind of got on our nerve because it was interrupting other ideas we wanted to continue to have. Ways of being. Tell the truth, yes? Yes. So this is that opportunity. So in the morning, you're arising into a newness, another idea, another possibility. Nurture it, get with it, see. Because an assumption that I'm making is that there's a morning practice, no matter how brief it is. But there's a moment in the morning where you're giving thanks. And it could be as simple as giving thanks that my eyes opened and that I see through these eyes that opened. Now, for some of us, it don't matter how clearly. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that your vision has been, I'm simply saying I'm giving thanks. My eyes are open. I'm alive and I have a modicum of wellness. Enough to know I'm here. Yes. This is a place of incremental gratitude. Would it make sense if I say it that way? You're giving thanks for whatever you can. Whatever little increment. It's not the whole thing that you wanted. I know you're hoping once you throw those legs over, you're hoping that knee's going to be all right. But we're not there yet. We're just going to give thanks for the part we know. Right? We're hoping the toe is going to be up, but we're not there yet. We have enough to be grateful for simply in the awakening. Y'all better come go with me with this, yes? So we're starting from that place. Now look, what I'm working myself to is a couple of weeks ago, when Barack Obama's book just hit me, this idea, this notion of the audacity of hope. And in my researching that, I determined that it began with the audacity to hope, which was born out of a talk that Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright, when Obama was attending his church, but Wright had attended it was actually a convention. It was a convention where Reverend Frederick Sampson spoke, and he spoke about this painting, Hope. And in this painting, where you cannot make it out unless you're up close to it, there is one thin string left on the instrument. And it's like this audacity to still try to play it. Because for us, many of us would have just tossed it out. It's broke. Can't play that. But there's something, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm wanting you to stay with me with this idea of paying attention to all of it. Noting that it all has meaning for us on this adventure in faith. There is something within it, this one string that's left, to have the audacity to still play that. To show, what is it saying? It's saying you have the audacity to show up with whatever little bit you have. So if you do swing out and that knee doesn't work, you have the audacity to still give thanks that you can stand on that one leg that is working well. Can you see that the calling that is on us to be in acceptance and in gratitude? Because what that is the perfect foundation for the audacity to move forward, to hope. So it's from the audacity to hope to the audacity of hope. Now look, as I think about this as I think about this idea, and my sense is that there's something in me that has me think that I want to talk about this more later. But whenever there have been so many times I've done that, and that was like all I was going to do on that. So I don't know that we'll revisit it. But look, this is what I have so far, is that this notion of the audacity to hope emphasizes the action of having hope. Just the audacity to have hope. And haven't you ever thought, how could that person have hope? How could that one, Mother Harriet, how could you, under those circumstances, and we don't know all the details, tell the truth. None of us knows all the details, but we've heard enough through the slave narratives, haven't we? We've read enough, we've heard enough to begin to imagine that one that would throw an iron at a youngster's head, that would not be all that's happening there. So we don't even know line and verse all of what that is. But the part we do know, yes, just the part that independently, individually, each one of us has some little piece of the story. So Mother Harriet, with the piece of the story we have, we are wondering, how do you move on? How did you have the audacity to hope for freedom and keep moving on? There's a part of me that just wants to sit right down here. I mean, what? How you do that? That's the real question on our hearts, isn't it? How you do that? Because there's not a one of us in the room that doesn't want some of that. That doesn't want some of that when the physician, or first of all, you might just be with the nurse practitioner taking the blood pressure. Sometimes it's just at that level, isn't it? You might be right there and need to call on some of that same power, that audacity to hope, to know that something else is possible. That whatever that number is that's coming up, that's not for the rest of your days. It may show up with that for today, but there's something for you to get busy knowing and being and doing to shift that. Come on, Mother Harriet, tell us it's not going to be easy. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. It's going to require something different. And the thing about it requiring something different is that that's not an excuse to stand in, well, I don't know what, and then sit down. It's a I don't know what and get busy. Opening. Being available to the answer. What is it for me? Doing the research. Sitting in meditation. Centering oneself. See, I don't know exactly what it will take, but I know it will require a willingness for the change. Look, I feel like there are two very distinct positions. One is, oh my God, ain't it awful? Don't know, well, it's all. Oh my God, ain't it awful? Don't know what to do. Then it can either be, and so that's it. Or it can be, don't know what to do, but I know somebody does. I know somebody's been through something similar. I know that there'll be something, I know that I'll be guided. Come on, Mother Harriet. that internal GPS system, that guidance that gets us from where we are to where we need to be in our heart, in the full expression of our heart's desire, is something that we can learn, something that we can open to allowing to happen. It does not happen for the one who's saying, I don't know how. Or adding to that, and so because I don't know how right now, it means it can't happen. And y'all are looking at me. See, y'all at home, you're not doing that. But some of these people here are looking at me like they don't do that. But I know the human condition is so complex. And it's this full, in order to have the full, it includes all of that. It includes the times that we didn't know and so we gave up. It includes the times we didn't know and we said, you better get out of my way, not knowing. Because I am committed to this. I am going to be up in this. I am going to do, hear that, I'm going to do whatever it takes. There was a moment in our household as youngsters where my mother would say something, from another room. She'd be, oh, you better, whatever it was. And we just keep right on moving because it didn't have that sound. Some of y'all understand what I'm talking about, yes? It'd be like, that was just first draft. And it wasn't even a conscious awareness on our part. We were just like collectively somehow knew we didn't have to move. But there was a moment when that changed, and I mean, we could spring from seated into whatever the machination was that she expected to see when she came around that corner. That's what I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to that part of you that knows how to move when it's time to move. I'm talking to that part of you that absolutely knows how to move and when it's key to your thriving. God, I hope this is making sense. Yes? Is there a question about this? Because this is like foundational to what we're up to. Any question about that? Any question from where you are? If so, put it in the chat. Someone will get it for me and read it to me, whatever needs to happen, if there's a question. Because sometimes I think it's the trainer facilitator in me that just says, no point in moving on if they didn't get this part. Is there? Y'all are good. Okay. Anything? Sally, anything? Okay. All right, here we go then. So we know that this idea, we're emphasizing in audacity, having the audacity, and see, we want to. This is like I'm wanting us to almost push and shove to get to the front of line of having the audacity to hope. Now, can I just say that sometimes we will come across folks with such privilege that they won't understand this idea. Because they will not have had the kinds of experiences that could leave one absent the audacity to hope. Or won't even believe that hope requires audacity. But I stand in the place of knowing that sometimes you really have to, come on, Mother Harriet, you got to have the audacity to hope. Just the bold, brazen hope. Because sometimes that's as high on the scale as you can get. We're going to start at hope, because that's just where I am. I'm going to hope it's going to be different. But then I need you to work that. That can't just be a passing idea. And then this notion of hope as an act, as an audacious act. I am hoping. But it's like with everything you got, that you are in that. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's our foundation for what we're working with here. Don't have time. So look, in 1 Corinthians, in 15:58, as 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, 58th verse, I'll go start there. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, what? Unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. And what is the work of the Lord? It's love. It's breathing life into spiritual principle. It's the spiritual principles. It's acceptance. It's caring. It's compassion. That's the work. It's faith. In faith believing. That's the work. Yes? Always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in that work. And then in 1 Corinthians 16, 13 through 14, it says, be alert and stand in the faith. Be valiant. Be strong. Come on, Mother Harriet. They're describing what's required. What was required of Mother Harriet, what's required of all of us. And let all your dealings be with love. Have an eternal hope in good. That's where we enter. That we would always go to a hope in good. Look, I love this. This is from, I forgot which of the daily reads that Ernest Holmes, I know it's in August. That's a big help, huh? Big help. Some daily read in August. Glad I could help. It reads, the hopeful have always managed to lift the world a bit. Let's start a club, with that intention, because that is true. The hopeful have always managed to lift the world a bit and to bless humanity. With their eyes upon good. Where do they hold their eyes? On good. Always. What is it? I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from which cometh my help. For the hills, it's the higher possibility. It's not literally a hill. There's no magic in a hill. It's that I'm lifting up my eyes above the problem, above the situation, above the challenge. I'm lifting up mine eyes to the highest possibilities. Nancy, ask it. Ask it, please. As loud as you can until they... No, don't do that, please. Hold for a moment. We're bringing a mic. Because that way people hear, and I don't have to pretend like I know exactly what the question was.
All right, this is from Jaco, Costa Rica.
Okay.
On YouTube.
Thank you.
And it's stepping back just a couple minutes from previously. Please expound upon uncertainty. If you're living from a place of knowing, isn't uncertainty part of it, or is it no big deal?
That's good. But here's, the person isn't on there. They're just texting it. Okay, good. Thank you very much for the question. So it depends. It depends on what, when I was using uncertainty, I'm using it as a state of being, not a consideration. And to me, they have different weight. So in everything, there's going to be a moment of uncertainty, but you don't have to ever feel uncertain. So you have the consideration, and you're uncertain, but you don't feel the uncertainty. You just haven't made up your mind yet. You aren't certain yet of exactly what the next step is. But this notion, this feeling of uncertainty for many people is paralyzing. It's a state of being. It really isn't. It's a false state that we allow to so consume us that it becomes, in our living, a state of being. A false state of being, albeit, and yet a state that throws us off our game. I hope that clarifies that question. So yes, period. Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you.
Question from Krista.
Okay.
In your experience, when there is that something within us that knows it's time to move,
Yeah.
like when your mother's tone changed,
Yes. Yes.
is it an urgent kind of knowing or is it a more subtle knowing?
So, both at different times. Often for me, it feels like a hand at the small of my back. For me, it feels, because I'm not always, I'm not always as willing. This is, okay. Thank you, whoever asked Krista. Thank you, Krista. Look, so I ask, I pray, I center, I'm journaling, I'm all that, and then I'm not willing when the answer comes. It's like, oh yeah, clearly, you call this, do that. Like, I ain't doing that. What else you got? And I'm waiting for, 2, 3 other choices. And sometimes it's like, that's it. You gonna have to do that. And depending upon how evolved I am in that moment, because evolution varies on a given week, day, afternoon, hour. It just varies. I'm in my humanness. Ooh, I've told y'all this is not a mountaintop teaching. Gives you pure evidence of that right now. So in my case, I haven't always. Sometimes that's my final answer. I'm not doing that. Now, often a decade later, I find myself right then be like, okay, I guess I'll do it now. And I'm aware that I've had 10 dang years to cooperate with divine guidance and opted not to. So I just find me wherever I am. But in those moments when I am willing, it feels like a hand at the small of my back. And, willing has its, it's kind of a spectrum. Thank you. That's my lifeline right there. Yeah. On the spectrum of willingness, sometimes I'm like, you know what it looks like I'm willing. Like, I'm willing. What's it gonna be? It's that kind of willingness. 2, I'm willing, with the full investment of it all, which means I don't require the hand at the small of my back. But there have been so many times in my life where it has been the small at the hand at the small of my back, that it's easy for me to recall how that sense of urgency is that's what I would assign to it. That push that's there. And I think for those of you who are advanced and doing right by yourself, it could just look like the awakening. Like other ideas that you get. And you simply are responsive. Yeah? And accepting. Thank you. Good questions. Good. So in this piece about, I love this notion of being optimistic. Sounds of Blackness is what's coming to my mind. Their song, Optimistic, yes, because there's a vibe to that, yes. And so I'm going to encourage us to be a part of that energy where Ernest Holmes writes, before me lies an eternal possibility which awaits my exploration. Come on, Ernest, paint it that way. It's the idea that's awaiting my exploration. We can bring curiosity to this. We don't all have to feel put upon by it, yes? Yes. It bids me to come to its gates and enter in to partake of its immeasurable good. Now, let's be clear. Mother Harriet has had an entirely different life experience than Ernest Holmes. And so they're coming to, I'm just stating the obvious here, but they're coming to this same idea of hope, of optimism, of knowing something beyond what can really be known in the human condition, but certainly known beyond that. And Mother Harriet, to me, was tapped in beyond that. To know I'm going to go left here. I'm going to just stay right here still. Yeah. I'm going to take these people, but not that one. That one can't go. Not yet. Anyhow, they don't have the constitution for what we're up to, or the willingness to just hear what I say and do what I say. Do. Yes? Says, okay, so now we have Ernest Holmes who's feeling like it's bidding, it's just calling here. Even though my world tells me that much is impossible. Mother Harriet saying, yeah, that part right there. I still declare my possibility in God. I don't need to read no more. Even though it's a no, even though it's a cannot do, even though the prognosis has been written and they have already passed it around and you are now meeting medical professionals you've never seen before in your life, because that's how that thing gets escalated. You start with the folks you know, and then you end up in front of folks you've never laid eyes on before, and they've never laid eyes on you. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it in a way that some of you who have been there will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But what Ernest Holmes and Mother Harriet are both saying, that that's not the end of that. The world is telling you that it's impossible, but you can still declare your possibility in God. What is that but the audacity to hope? The audacity for hope. Yes? Oh, come on, Ernest Holmes. He says, I know that nothing can be withheld from me. Do you know that? If you don't yet know it, it's okay. That's not like a final quiz. It's a check in and see. Because if you don't know that, if there's some part of you that's like, I wish I knew that, that's for you to practice. There is no magic in this teaching. That's a sign that you will require some practice. You will require some time alone to come to this place of awareness where you can say, I know, and I know that nothing can be withheld from me if my consciousness is clear and positive. And you won't need that last point because your consciousness will be clear and positive. You'll be standing in the I know nothing can be withheld from me. Yes? Oh, Lord, this is good stuff. We're going to take this in two parts. After, so we know Brother Ishmael will be here next week. We're going to pick up right here with I am divinely optimistic. What? I don't even know how long we're going to hang out there, because what? It would be great to get us, for everybody, to kind of move up the ladder while moving deeper into this awareness and experience of optimism. Divinely optimistic. I love that. Yes. And what we're doing is we are nurturing and building our audacity to hope. Because to me, that optimism rests on that foundation. You're going to have to bring it to get there. This divine optimism, you're going to have a foundation for that. For those principles, in order to really breathe life into that. Oh, my goodness gracious. Tell you what we're going to do. When we do that, we're also going to, there's a powerful process. So I'm going to come back week after next, and we're going to pick up from I am divinely optimistic. And I'm going to know exactly what day in August and what book. Give you something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to close this out with words from Neville Goddard. And then the next voice you hear after that will be Melanie DeMore. Yeah. So Neville Goddard offers us this. He says, "So I tell you, everything will pass away, but love endures forever, as told us in the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians. Someone once defined the words faith, hope, and love as faith is believing what is incredible. Hope is hoping when all things are hopeless. And love is forgiving what is unforgivable." And to that, all I can say is hallelujah. Melanie DeMore.
Rev. Come on. I tell you. This song is written by a dear friend of mine named Ansel Matthews. May this blessing that you've given me be a healing for the soul. Hallelujah. And this body that you've given me be a bridge to young and old. Hallelujah. Let the lion and the lamb, let the black and the white regain their sight and see what they've been missing in their earthly lives. Let the lion and the lamb, let the black and the white lie down peacefully and finally learn to come to love the things they're furthest from. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. For the lessons that we all must learn, may they never be too tough. Hallelujah. This abundance that you've given us, may it one day be enough. Hallelujah. Let the lion and the lamb, let the black and the white regain their sight and see what they've been missing in their earthly lives. Let the lion and the lamb, let the black and the white lie down peacefully and finally learn to come to see the things they're furthest from. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.